Buonasera and welcome into another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. We are connecting with you, Italian football fans from all over the world.
Doing drugs tonight.
What?
Sorry, we're doing drugs tonight.
Okay. I'm going to start driving to Canada. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get from Miami to Toronto, but I'll start the drive.
Tough, man.
Oh man,
there's those cholesterol pills, man. I gotta take them soon. You know.
Oh man, no, it's fun. I'm actually, I had my last time I got my blood work done. It's a great way to start the show.
Yeah,
my cholesterol was like a little high, like borderline high.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I have been on this savage diet for. I haven't gotten it rechecked yet, so I don't know what it's going to be like. But I haven't been eating beef, like basically anything that tastes good. I haven't been eating for like the last couple of months. So we'll see. In I think in February, I'm going to get the cholesterol tested again, see where we're at. So yeah, we got high cholesterol on this panel. I don't know how Jerry's cholesterol is. Hello,
Jerry, all that salumi. You must got some type of high sodium levels, right? Like,
yeah, I was all over that too. I haven't eaten any salami, anything good in like the last 2 months, man.
What do you like, kale or like what is it? What's your secret? Because I got to do the same thing. My triglycerides and cholesterol and sugar. I'm basically classified as diabetic now. By the way.
Okay. Well, listen, man, here's the thing. Like what I've done, and like I gained a ton of weight during COVID, like a lot of people did, and so I finally decided to like get off my ass and like start having a little bit of discipline. So it's like, dude. Seriously, people are gonna try to sell you on like all these like hack diets, like these like these cheat codes where it's like, oh, you can eat as much as you want as long as you like cut out one thing, and then, dude, I tried all that shit. It doesn't work for me. The only thing that worked for me was you have to basically for like 2 weeks put yourself through hell, like cut your portions like in half or in a third. Only eat things that are like eat a lot more vegetables. If you're gonna eat meat, like grilled white meat, fish and chicken and all that stuff. And then I'm telling you, after like 2 weeks, you're gonna lose the cravings, and it's gonna be So that's what I did, man. The first 2 weeks were hell, and since then it's like I can watch people eating fucking donuts in front of me. It doesn't even bother me anymore.
Not one bite. That's good.
Yeah,
you inspire me. I got to do the same. I did all right. I lost like 10-12 pounds, but I gotta,
man.
But I started stress eating in December, man, with all the stuff going on, and it was just
it
was a tough month. And then
this is a tough time of year too with the holidays. It takes a lot of it. And speaking of discipline, dude, I get myself, and I knew that the Inter game was probably not going to happen because it was very clear last night with the local health authorities in the Bologna area and all the cases Bologna had. But the Serie A does this protocol where they don't call off games beforehand. Like you have to travel and then you have to go on the field, and then the other team's going to forfeit, but then they're going to appeal it, and the forfeit's going to get thrown. It's ridiculous the way that the league handles it. And I understand that in Italy, there are a lot of different regions and they all have different protocols. But if they're not going to be uniform with one another, the league needs to be uniform. So I knew that there was like a 95% chance that the game would not be played this morning. Most of the games were played today. But Inter were scheduled to play 6:30 a.m. our time. So I get out of bed at like 6:25. Like, let me just make sure, okay, it's not happening. Tried to go back to sleep. I couldn't go back to sleep. It is what it is. In the meantime, we're going to talk about results around the league because even though my team didn't play today, Raff's team did play. Jerry's team did play. Jerry, let me start with you on this.
Hold on. I want to ask a question about Inter before we drift off. There's just not much to talk about Inter, but does Hakan play Sunday or is he still suspended?
I haven't seen. Here's the thing. That's another thing that's unclear. So Hakan supposed to serve a 1-game suspension, but so like I want to know, did today's game that didn't happen between Inter and Bologna, does that count as a 3-0 for? Okay, so Mario says
I love Mario. Mario is shit. Thanks, Mario.
Which is like, okay, so does it technically not count as a 3-0 forfeit? Even though I know Bologna would appeal it anyway and they would replay the game. So okay, so Hakan, so you're welcome, Jerry. You're welcome. So Hakan's not going to be able to play on Sunday against Lazio.
Is that Galliano? Mario Galliano? Queen's in the house. Queen's in the house.
Queen.
Right.
No, I'm not like, you're a queen. I mean, he lives in Queens.
Jerry's Canadian. He doesn't know that stuff.
Sorry. Queensboro in the house. The borough of Queens, New York in the house.
I like your mug, eh?
Thank you, sir.
That is a nice mug.
We're gonna start selling them.
Oh, and by the way, let me. I want to, and I know people who follow the Rafa and Raff already know this, but this is big, man. The Raff and Raff rant is back. You guys took a hiatus.
Yes.
So congratulations, man, because what you guys do, it's really electric and it's really popular.
Backstreet's back.
Yep, back in business, man. Lots of fun. I couldn't stay away long, So we're back. Lots of fun. We did the mid-season report cards, guys. It was like a 2-hour special. You don't have to watch the whole 2 hours, but coming in most people, my average view duration is like 17 minutes, so it's okay. But like Southside Queens is where the thug is. That's right.
That's where Figo.
I'm on West Queens. We're in West Queens. Oh, another Queens boy in the house. That's right. Dominating today, boy. Love it.
Lord Figo is the man, the myth, and the legend. Oh, and by the way, you guys just did your midseason report cards. I'm just curious because obviously I still hold Luciano Spalletti near and dear to my heart. Yeah. How do you feel about his first half season at Napoli?
Coming out the gate, he was great. The team did well. I still think he's all right. I'm starting to get a little PTS from like the whole thing that happened last year too with the injuries, now COVID and this. I feel like he's kind of getting the same experience that Gattuso got last year, where it's like we come out the gate strong, boom, every injury in the world. I'm not making excuses, but let's keep it real. Like the whole backbone of the team is out due to injury, COVID, or what have you. And we lose our form a little bit over the last 6 games. I believe we're like 3-3 or something, 3 wins, 3 losses, something like that in the last 6 games. This is coming from back-to-back wins starting out. So Winter Spalletti is here. This is it. Like here we go. But I do expect kind of a turnaround in the spring. Well, once everybody's back, I expect Napoli to kind of turn things around. But overall, I thought he's been good.
Yeah, and obviously, like people know what Mario was referencing there. Spalletti has the reputation. We saw it at Roma. We saw it at Inter, where you get these winter blackouts. But the thing is, like for this Napoli team, like how much can I actually blame Spalletti? Like I know it's a big joke. Spalletti, like December through like February, doesn't win any games. But the thing is, like when you've got a squad that's been so decimated like Napoli, how do I know how much of that is Spalletti's fault and how much of it is just bad luck?
Right. It happened all at the same time, practically. That's the crazy part. As soon as I guess Southern Italians have this thing with cold. It's like you're from Florida, right? Right, Alex? So the minute a little bit of brisk air kind of came through Italy, all of a sudden we started dropping like flies. And Koulibaly, Insigne, Victor Osimhen gets assaulted. You know what I mean? Fabian. Who else? Lozano coming off an injury that almost killed him. It's crazy. It's just so crazy for this to happen once again at practically the exact same time. And I'm not making excuses. Fine, it is what it is. Look, Milan today, great game. They're pretty depleted. Juve, for the most part, they had a handful of guys out today, and we'll get into that game, but
sure.
It's hard to remain consistent when the most important players on your team are gone. The ones who make, ones who create plays, the one who scores goals. And, man, it's so hard.
Is it like, Jerry, tell me if this is a silly thing to say, but like he brought up how depleted Milan were today. They still, and obviously, Roma struggle in some big matches, but it's like, I've seen a pattern over the last couple of years where it seems like Milan play better when they're depleted. Like, you know what I'm saying? I remember last year when they had a ton of injuries, like January, February. Once they started getting guys back, the results got worse. It's like, for whatever reason, when Milan have like 5-6 guys out, they tend to play better. I don't know what it is.
It's like rally up.
Most teams, you have a bunch of injuries, your results are going to drop. Milan play better when they have injuries.
I think it's the fact that this team's built to overcome adversity. They have this mental fortitude where they just are easy to play against the pressure, and a lot of their players manage to step up. I thought today, I I watched parts of the game. I thought it was kind of boring. The game, I'm not gonna lie. Milan, yeah, I thought Milan really dominated that game. I was trying to regain my composure after Lazio's 3-3 draw against Empoli, but for the most part, this is just a Milan team where Pioli gets his players ready. They don't look nervous. They don't look shaky. They don't look out of position. They know their role, and they just come in and they do what they need to do. It's that simple. Whereas Roma, I thought that Roma had the better team going into this match, considering how many players they had available, and they got exposed by Milan C team. Like that's exactly what happened today. That back line of Roma. I thought Lazio's back line was shit. Oh my god, I don't know what's worse, Lazio or Roma, because Roma's got a lot of money invested in their defense, as opposed to Lazio do not have any money invested. And I made a tweet yesterday just for fun banter that they spent over $1 billion in the last 10 years or something.
They're a top 10 spender in
a top
all
10
of Europe.
Spender. And you laugh at me like, oh, you wish that Lotito could spend that kind of money. No, I don't. In some ways, I don't. I wish that we spend money wisely. That's what I wish.
Yeah.
Like,
what's this? Like, if you spend more and more money, you're better. That doesn't necessarily equate to being better. Just more expensive.
But if I'm going to spend a lot of money, I hope that there's a return on the investment. When I have to see a Marici come in for 20 million, I expect gold to come in for 20 million. It's not pocket change for Serie A teams. The only teams that can spend 20 million probably get away with it is Inter and Juventus right now. And I say Inter because they figure out ways to do it, even though they have their financial crisis right now.
I mean, most of the big moves Inter make the last couple of years are these.
Not even
the freeze that Marotta. Yeah. I mean, he's able to get these players out of contract. That's been the biggest moves we've been making. It's
true, but at the end of the day, money doesn't do everything. It does, but to a certain degree. Reality.
I got to say something about Inter. I mean, granted, I'm a Napoli fan. Of course, I want to see us win it all. But Inter had so much pressure, I feel like, coming into the season, right, with the whole Lukaku sale and all that, and now sitting in first place. I think that's a big testament as to the response that they had coming into the season, Alex, because they're like, oh, they're going to tank it. Oh, they're gonna, Lukaku's done. Look at your team, and I'm guilty a little bit of it too. But now look, this is why you should kind of like wait, see things sometimes. Even though I called Napoli
losing Conte was to me probably that to me was probably even bigger than losing Lukaku and Hakimi. And even though, like, listen, I've watched Inzaghi pretty closely because my guy Jerry has always been singing his praises for his time in Lazio, but like I still thought, and it's only halfway through a season, so there's and the month of January is going to be really tough. But I mean, it's been a great start. I mean, when you talk about mid-season grades, like to me, Inzaghi gets an A+, and Dzeko has been a lot better than I thought he would be, and it's nice to see Denzel Dumfries, who had a really slow start to the year. He's been really contributing as of late, and the back line is still been really solid. And even the guy that we make fun of all the time, Interisti, I mean, Handanovic has been pretty good. He's still one of the better goalkeepers in Serie A. Like, he has every now and then he just has these matches where he'll let in a howler, but we haven't seen any of those really since very, very early in the year, and he's been dialed in. So I've got nothing to complain about. I mean, I wish I could have watched the game this morning. I understand that this Omicron is bigger than sports right now, and I was expecting the game would get canceled, but it is what it is, man. I'm really happy with the first half of the year. What about you? What about you, Jerry? Talk me through this draw today, which was a roller coaster with Lazio Empoli today. Now I know that you've been pointing out after this 3-3, like, Empoli are not a bad team whatsoever. If it's still Lazio at home, only able to take 1 point out of this one. How do you grade Inzaghi today, and what did you think about the performance?
Inzaghi.
Oh, sorry, Sarri.
What's going on here, man?
Not a lot of sleep this week, my friend. Not a lot of sleep.
I think that going into this game, I spoke to Joseph from Forza Napoli podcast, and we both agreed that with Empoli, They are a very underrated team who have caused a lot of issues for a lot of teams. Napoli lost to them. I think Sassuolo lost to them. Juve lost to them. And when you're beating, and I think they gave a good run against Milan before the break and they lost 4-2, but it wasn't an easy path to just getting 3 points. Like Milan had to earn it against Empoli prior to the break when they won 4-2. But like it's not it's very disappointing because we lost again to ourselves. Three terrible mistakes. I've been preaching about Thomas Trkosha, but today was not his day. He didn't make a save when he had to. The first goal, I don't know what he's doing trying to run out. Husai was terrible today. I don't know. I don't know what anybody thinks. I see what Napoli fans are talking about now, where he'll have an amazing game.
He has his moments, right?
Yeah, it's really nerve-wracking because he's not consistent. That to me is not a consistent player. And there are days where you're like, this guy's amazing. This is an elite fullback. Mm-hmm. And then there are other days where I've noticed that he's just in shambles and just out of position. I thought there was some good and some bad from him, but in the first 2 minutes, he makes a header backwards towards his own end. And I don't know what Strakosha is trying to do, run out to the sideline to kind of kick it. And as a result, he takes down the player. Like, what are you doing? You're not going to get that, man. Like, you're way out of position. Stay in your goal. It's very nerve-wracking because, like, it's frustrating because this is the second mistake he's made this year. And recently, he hasn't made any big saves. The second goal, we were caught out of position and he's just frozen, doesn't make any attempt. And then the third goal was a very poor coverage again, a breakdown. Patrick not picking up his guy in the box. Luis Felipe, I don't know why he's playing so high up on the sideline. I fault Savage as well, not tracking back and trying to make an effort. It's just all bad defending overall. And this is an issue for Lazio because I thought they were resilient today where they fought back. They were down 2-0. They came back 2-2. They lost the lead. They were trailing 3-2. They fought back in the extra time. So this is a team that has really have the ability to score because I thought offensively we should have scored at least 6 goals today. Felipe Anderson hit the crossbar. Cheeto missed the penalty, but you know what? In all due respect, he didn't deserve the penalty in the first place. I kind of think he sold it, and don't like to see that because he doesn't get headed in the head. There's no foul on him. It's just a bad call overall, and I'll be honest about it. And everybody knows how much I love Immobile, but I don't like to see those things. Zuccani was apparently tripped down in the box. I don't think he got touched. I personally think that he just tripped on his own feet. I don't know why we're trying to complain for fouls. You get to keep going. But aside from the good, I'll say, Savage, unbelievable season. 7 goals, 7 assists. The guy's on fire.
A nice goal today.
Yeah. Man of the match today, right? I believe so. I'm sorry, Jerry. I was looking over the Foot Mob ratings real quick. I was like, let me just take a look. Strakosha 4.7 ratings. I've never seen that. Like, I've never seen a rating so low. I didn't watch the game, so I don't want to like comment too much. So I'll take your word for it. But geez, man, under 5 your goalie today.
Our defensive issues were bad. Okay, like the second goal was just a massive breakdown. The third goal, massive breakdown. But I agree. Even if your defense breaks down, you got to make an attempt to make a save or try to cut a pass off. Like, I don't see that from Strakosha. And a lot of the time I question why players are not playing, why they're not in the lineup. And I think Sarri knows what he's doing. I think Sarri sees, he said it today after the press conference, the goals that we concede in games are actually conceded in practice as well. That's concerning. Yeah. So that's not that he can't, it's not that he can't do his job. That to me, that means that we don't have quality in this lineup. We lack quality because if you can't get it right in practice, what makes you think you're going to get it right in a game? And there's something wrong with these players. Like, you have a guy like Patrick in the back. No disrespect. Not good. Like, Achirby. He's no longer what he used to be. Felipe obviously is showing that he can't play in the back 4. Maricic is the only good player right now who can actually adapt and play in any position on the field. It's miraculous what this guy can do. Is Lazzari that much worse than Husai? I asked that today. Is Husai that much better than Lazzari? Like, come on, am I losing something here? Am I not picking something up? Because I think Lazzari could be a much better fullback compared to Husai. He's got the pace. He's got the offensive ability. He can track back. I don't get this, man. But in regards, and now the thing that bothers me the most out of this whole game is we knew that Acerbi and Felipe are not 100%.
Yeah.
You know that you play Inter on Sunday, and you still have a very, very hectic schedule ahead. So what do? We start Acerbi. He pulls up, has to leave less than a half an hour into the game, and now he's going to miss the game on Sunday versus Inter. And now I was reading that we might have to start Patrick. I hope that doesn't happen.
I hope so.
If I'm Lazio, if I'm Lazio, the back four has got to be Maricic, Radu, Felipe Anderson, and you either put Husai or Lazzari. There's no reason why Patrick starts ahead of Radu. No reason. He started in 3 of the last 6 matches prior to today, and he's been really, really good. I think that he's really settled in under Sarri. And Patrick comes into today. He gets a handball. I think he could have scored. The goal, he gets called back on a handball. I don't know what he's doing, trying to jump up I guess it's reactionary because it's off a corner kick, but it's all bad from him defending. Not good. If you can't defend against Empoli, you're in a lot of trouble against Inter. Again, like I said, the defense was the biggest concern today. And if this doesn't get addressed and fixed, it's going to get worse. We've conceded, I think, 37 goals this year, which is like a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of goals, man. And it's...
Jerry, under Sarri ball, I remember for Napoli, just in my own experience and for what I've seen, Napoli always had a hard time when the opponents were really pressing them, especially in the midfield, or if they faced a really strong midfield that maybe 4 or 5 guys in those type of formations. Napoli always had a hard time with those teams. But they also had, what up, Artie? What was I going to say now? But we also had, hey, Francesco, what's going on? Sorry, I got to say hello to the fellas. Raff Bizz going to have to. My partner in crime in the chat here, huh? Brought the heat. I'm like one of those comedians. I have to bring, a few people into the club to buy drinks in order to perform. So I thought that was what I had to
get a few cheap laughs in there.
Yeah. I sent out the bat signal always, and boy, do they respond like this.
Oh, we appreciate it, man.
I love these guys. Yeah, man, I love these guys. But I was gonna say that Napoli always under Sarri ball with Napoli, they always had a hard time when they were getting pressed. Granted, we had Koulibaly, Albiol, and a good Peperina, and Gulam, by the way. I know I was on the other side, maybe he's a little younger, whatever, but we had a pretty good defensive line. And when we did the best is when we maintained possession. The more possession we had, it's almost like that whole theory of a good a good defense is a good offense, right? So we maintained the 70% throughout the game, and we were able to kind of beat up on teams and score, and they just couldn't catch the ball. Mertens, Insigne, and Callejon were just out of their mind with the tiki-taka. Napoli bums. From the name, bro, I'm gonna look for each other. No, but it's so I'm not sure if Lazio quite are there yet. I don't watch a whole lot of the games, Jerry. I'll ask you. It's how do you feel about their possession? How do you feel about the leadership in the back? And when you experience these high presses from your opponents, how is Lazio responding? Because those are the 3 things I saw that gave Sarri ball Napoli a hard time. So I'm curious to know if Lazio is experiencing the same thing.
Maintaining possession today was really good. And we control possession, I would say, over 70% of the game today.
62-38 to be exact. I'm cheating.
Look at that. He's got the stats.
But it's the transition play that really hurts Lazio, where we we can't get back into position when they counterattack against Lazio, and it's really bad. I think both of our goals we conceded were off the counterattack, or all three. It's bad. We can't stop the transition. It's like we forget how to play. It's because everyone plays too high up, and we're caught up too high, and we expose ourselves in the back with too much space, and we're all spaced out. I'm confident in Sarri. Here's the biggest issue now, and I saw a few tweets today which were really good. One Lazio fan said, "You can't teach someone how to do their job now. You can't teach someone how to play football if you don't know how to play your position. If you don't know the basics by now, then what? That's not Sarri's responsibility. Sarri's responsibility is to come in and implement his tactics, what everything is supposed to be done. If you can't grasp the basics of football as a professional athlete and know to cover your right side, to know to be a center back, not to shift down, to know where you have to be on the attack and be in the midfield, then you're in trouble. That's not Sarri's job. Sarri's not coming in to teach you how to play now. Sarri's coming to teach you how to play his style. And that's what he's there for.
Great point.
Like that's at the end of the day, that's how it goes down, right? And it's not on Sarri, man. But it's a transition for them. Also, he doesn't have the personnel to help him. So it's kind of hard to teach someone. It's like teaching a dog a new trick when he's 10 years old. He's not going to want to learn because he's already set in his ways. Training a dog late in his age, it's always the most challenging thing. They always say you start early because they pick it up right away and they learn as time goes. But like it's tough. There are very few players who have strived, and I'll say one player, Ciro Immobile, has proven he can play in a 4-3-3. And
please show it to me in March, please. The playoff.
You know what? Maybe it's a Sarri thing, but he has got Immobile playing at a different level. Everyone thought that Immobile was going to struggle in the 4-3-3. He was going to decline under Sarri, and he's built for 3-5-2. Well, guess what? 11 of his 14 goals, I think it's the 14. Yeah, 11 of his 14 goals this season have come from open play in the Serie A. And I think that's pretty impressive for Immobile and what he's been able to kind of establish under Sarri in his first season. So, and I do agree with Raphael, and I said that earlier already, that you have to give credit to Empoli because they play a very structured game. And
Empoli,
when they took the lead at 3-2, they really sat back and played a very good defensive game with a low block where they didn't give Lazio anything. They had to work for every inch to kind of break down this Empoli side. And I'll say the last shuttle, which is really key for Lazio going into Sunday, is Felipe Anderson. I think the guy who only got an assist today, but was probably the most effective player that no one really talked about on Twitter was Felipe Anderson. This guy's hot and cold, and he was hot today.
He's going to be hot Sunday. Against Inter, he's always hot.
Well, today he was creating chances, was getting around the spaces in the box. When Anderson's on his game, Lazio's attack is on another level. Like it's unreal what this guy can do when he's so confident. His dribbling, his crosses, his passing, the cross he makes to Savage on the second goal is unreal. Like he gets him right in the perfect spot, and he scores with a beautiful touch. Like you can't ask for more, and he's done it so many times. He did it against freaking Roma earlier in the year. Exact same pass he made to Savage. Savage makes the run into the box, and he heads it in. It's like we need Anderson at that next level in order for our attack to be much better. Felt bad for him because he hit the crossbar, and it was a beautiful strike. Huh. Like the guy was on his game today, so it's kind of funny because
23 shots from Lazio, Jerry, today. You know,
I'm telling you, man, we should have scored 6 goals today. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
But you know what? Anderson has scored in 2 straight games versus Inter. I actually looked at the stats, and he is quite effective against Inter. But I think he's got 4 goals in total. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be interesting Sunday's game, but that's another day we can talk about. I want to talk
a
about
little bit
Napoli as
later
well.
before we wrap it up. I do want each of us to say a few words on that, but before we get to that, another, of course, very important game today ended in a draw, and this is despite the fact that Napoli absolutely ravaged by COVID injuries. And they still got a point against Juventus. So I mean, Raff, do you look at this, and Napoli did have a 1-0 lead in this game? Do you view this as a point gained or 2 points dropped?
I don't know if I'll say 2 points drop, because I think like the consensus among the Napolitani was like, hey, I'm not sure if we're going to win this one. Or listen, it's tough. Like, again, the key players are out. Granted, we got Insigne back today, which I think made a big difference. I know Mertens scored the goal, but I think when Insigne is on the pitch, the Napoli side is a lot calmer, and I think that certainly helped them today. I think the what's the word? I think the momentum was going back and forth. It was almost like every 10 minutes the momentum was just kind of like swinging back to Juve or back to Napoli. But yeah, I'm with M Gags here. Certainly a point gain, because this could have easily been a loss had we not been on our
and really, like, on paper, this should have been a win for Juventus, and it's why there's obviously, I see a ton of disappointment and anger, frustration from Juventini, and rightfully so. I mean, you face a Napoli team with this many issues coming in. I mean, for them, I think it's 2 points dropped.
For Juve, certainly. I mean, considering that we had to travel, we're away, they're at home. I mean, granted, they had their share of issues as well as far as the squad goes, but I think today really showed, just how many issues they have in that midfield, or just how ineffective kind of like that midfield is right now, because the only response they had offensively, the only real response they had is either a counterattack or a long ball to the strikers. That's kind of all you saw. And luckily we were kind of able to neutralize all that, and we kept them. I think that their goal was slightly flukish. I mean, it's a little bit of botched defense, and Chiesa got through and was able to score. But I don't know, man. That midfield for Juve, right? And if I was a Juventini, I would be, I would definitely have some concern. And this is from a Juve squad who I remember in the times when they were, dominating the Serie A league. Their midfield was a wall. They were great. And I think it certainly helped them in their attack. But today, I don't know, man. They didn't have a lot of weapons against us. I thought Napoli did a little bit better in that respect. Certainly with Lobotka and Demme, nonetheless. Anguissa not there, Fabian not there. And those are two pillars of our midfield, and they were gone today. And Lobotka has really, really turned around from last season. I think he is kind of like the darling of Napoli this year as far as like transition, where last year we said it on the rant, like, he's Slobo, now he's like Lobo Cop, and he lost the weight, he's more aggressive, he's winning battles in the midfield, he's controlling the pace, he's distributing the ball, he's helping to pull strings, and I'm like, this is a totally new guy. I mean, I can see why Hamsik recommended him now. Maybe it took a season or so, but man, it was tight. It was tight. And I'm not gonna say I was a little nervous when Dybala came on. I was like, man, I hope this guy doesn't come on and start scoring, but didn't happen. They just didn't have enough. Yeah. They didn't have enough to set up to score on us, I feel like, today, Juve. To win the game, at least. Not to score, but to win the game.
Now, something I want to get into with both Raff and Jerry, because it affects both of you for different reasons, and that is what's been one of the biggest stories in Calcio, and that's Lorenzo Insigne, who's soon to be with Toronto FC. Now, of course, Insigne is the captain of Raff's club, Napoli, and he's going to a club that Jerry covers, his local Toronto FC, and he is going to be a credentialed member of the media this upcoming season. So, Raff, first from you, because I follow the stories, and I've worked in the MLS as well. It's not my favorite league for obvious reasons, but I'm definitely going to be watching. Actually, I was telling Jerry, and I'm not completely joking about this. Maybe Toronto FC is going to be my team because my local club Inter Miami, it's kind of a scam. So maybe I'll go all in with TFC with Insigne and maybe Belotti coming in. But I want to get the Napoli perspective because I see the MLS headlines and I see all the banter on Calcio Twitter. Just put it in the simplest possible terms. And I'm not saying you have to give me like 5 words. You can answer this as long as you want. But what were the events that led to this? And why is it that Insigne is leaving? And whose fault is it that he's no longer going to be in Napoli?
I mean, some would say that because he didn't want to accept the lower contract, it's his fault. They kind of like paint them as some kind of mercenary.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Some say it's I certainly don't agree with that. Some say he's getting paid what, 4.5 net. I mean, I don't know what kind of mercenary gets paid that kind of money, but either way, like some say it's ADL being cheap. I don't think it's ADL being cheap. I think it's ADL putting kind of business before everything. If you want to call that cheap, that's fine. But at the end of the day, I mean, deep down, I think like ADL right now is trying to clean house a little bit, especially, and this might be controversial, but especially regarding people who were involved in that whole mutiny thing, right? Jerry was like, "I'm out and forget MLS." Right? No,
the timing of that was great. Jerry.
It was great. It was
I don't
great.
want to talk about this guy.
I'm Senior. Have a nice day.
No,
Thanks anyway.
It's the light in the back. It's pissing me off. It keeps on going dark and light.
But I like it, Jerry. It gives like a
pissing me off. I don't know why it's doing that.
You let Lord Figo get into your head because Lord Figo.
He got into my head now.
Right.
The Lord is with us.
It's like the horror movie lighting scene or something that Jerry got going on there. A little suspense, right? Well, I think I think Insigne wanted to stay authentically. I'll say that much. He made it known on a number of occasions. He just wanted a little bit more money. De Laurentiis didn't want to pay it, and that's it. That's just kind of where it goes around. I'm with Rafi. Nobody's fault. ADL didn't want to pay, and then he lowballed his offer, and Insigne would be nuts not to take it. It's true.
Agree. Like he would be nuts not to take it.
He'll never get an offer like that. Now, some make the argument about, well, if he was really that good, why aren't other teams coming offering him $6 million and yada yada yada? Because I don't know why. It's hard for me to answer that question.
I mean, I know he didn't want to go somewhere else in Italy. I mean, maybe you have to wonder, okay, why weren't there offers from Spain?
Like Inter even was the big one, right, Alex? With as far as him going to Inter, which
which I don't think, and I like Insigne. Like I would have liked to have had him just because I like him, but I don't really think he fits Inzaghi's formation, so it'd be kind of pointless. Like I could see him fitting well on Milan actually, but listen, and something I know and respect about Insigne is this guy. He's Napolitano. He doesn't want to go play for another.
No.
Big Serie A club. Like I think he would look at that as like being disrespectful to Napoli, and I respect it. Like, I think that's a dying breed. There are not enough players these days. Like you think about, the Tottis of years past. That's a breed you don't see a whole lot of that these days.
Right, it's super rare. Right, it's super rare, and not a lot of. And I don't blame, athletes. It's a short lifespan, man. You gotta. It sucks to say, but you kind of got to get what you can get. And I don't think deep down inside, like Insigne really wanted to go to another Italian team. I don't think he wanted that. So
you'll never know though. We're just speculating, right? You telling me if some Italian team offered him what he wanted, he would have turned it down. I don't know, man.
Jerry, this guy got Maradona tattoos, Napoli tattoos. Yeah. Vesuvio tattoos all over his body. He's not going to play with an Inter jersey on, man. Yeah. He's just not going to do it. It's not against Inter. It's just, it's him. He wanted to stay. To stay.
I think EDL is at fault, man. I'm sorry.
Essentially, he didn't offer him the money, so
It's his fault, man. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
this is, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of how Latito played it out with Simone Inzaghi. Honestly, Simone Inzaghi is like the heart and soul of Lazio for the last 5 years. As much as Immobile does everything he does, he's the heart and soul that kept everything together. The tactics, the formation, making things flow. Look what he's doing at Inter now. You take him out of Lazio, and that's no disrespect to Sarri, because Sarri has a long. You can't. This is nothing to shit on Sarri and that he's the worst option. It's nothing on that. It's he built something to carry on, and now it all crumbled. You take out Insigne, it's gonna do the same thing to you guys, where you take the mold to it. It's what holds Napoli together for so many years is Insigne, the leadership, being the captain, just his play on the field, making he makes players better. Like it's how do you replace a guy like that who is born in his Napolitan as well? You know what I mean? He's the guy that keeps everything in the dressing room. When he's not on the field, like you said it before, the team's not the same. They don't perform as well. And I think that how does Napoli look next year without Insigne? You know what I mean? You pay your captain at least. I'm saying he's your captain. I know he's not performing well this year.
I disagree with that statement. That's the thing. What metric is Insigne not performing well other than missing a penalty kicks and not being all right, granted, maybe some of his scoring abilities, but the style of the team has changed. We spoke about this at the rant, Jerry, where like the wingers this year overall have not been performing the same as they did under Gattuso. Now, is that because it's the same guys, right? They're playing in the same formation. So what is it? Why are our wingers struggling now more than they did last season? And could it be because we're trying to feed Osimhen all day, and what Osimhen did for the team as far as stretching out defense and giving us space to our wingers and like Zielinski in the middle. So it's like you kind of got to look at the big picture. Insigne today, Mertens scored, and everybody's like, "Yeah, Mertens my captain." Guess what? That started from Lorenzo Insigne in the midfield with a long ball of Politano that eventually went to Mertens for the shot. Hey, great play. But it starts with Lorenzo Insigne. He has that hockey assist kind of like style, and he's had it all season. I want to address the question here, but before I get to that, I always said that, listen, I don't want Insigne shooting that much. He took a lot of shots last year that just flew over the net, man. It was annoying. I'm like, come on, dude. Set up your team. I think that is where you can certainly help more. And he's been doing that this year, and look, but now he's catching shit for it. Like, oh, well, he's not playing that good. Okay. He missed a few penalty shots. Fair enough. What, he made 4 of 7, but even Rispo mentioned the other day, this guy got this contract. He has his whole future on his mind right now.
Yeah.
And he wants to stay in the team. He wants to win something. This team, there's a lot of pressure on him. So you can imagine, like, a lot of times when these guys are off, it's because something's in their head, you know, like a little bit of form is off. And I'm with Reese, but he didn't waste his career. God bless the dude that can spend his whole career in his hometown.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean? And influence. Think about every like little Scunizzo now who wants to be a soccer player in Napoli now has Lorenzo Insigne to look up to as like, wow, this was the captain of our hometown team. I can do it too, you know? And we can get in all day about the youth system and De Laurentiis, whatever. But I'm just saying, man, think of it as a kid on the street with a Super Santos, you know, kicking a ball to the wall. Insigne is a hero. He didn't waste his career. You know, Charles Barkley didn't win a ring. He's still one of the great ones. You know what I mean? Does that mean he wasted his career in the Phoenix?
No.
It's just the way it turned out. It's hard to win a Scudetto, especially in Napoli.
My guy Dan Marino, 17 years, put up amazing stats, never won a Super Bowl.
Right? No, and he'll go down in history. You know, like its success is measured by it's like beauty is in the higher ball. Shout out to Super Santos. Thank you. Appreciate that, Mario. And Mario said, listen, actually it was Mario's, if you don't mind, guys, if I just keep ranting on here.
Of course.
Because I wanted to respond to Mario's question. Is Insigne the true captain? My short answer is yes at the moment. I gave him a lot of crap. I would say like the middle of last year, like I would say like December. Remember when he got that red card in Inter, Alex, last season?
That. Oh yeah.
That Insigne is not a true captain. He lost his head. We could have came back that game. It was what? You guys what? Was it 1-0 or something?
1-0.
Like 1-0.
Yeah.
Like we could have tied that game. It's possible.
And even with 10 men, you guys were pressuring more after going down a man.
Right.
So imagine.
Right.
Here's the thing with Insigne. I want to say that I don't watch enough Napoli to say that he's having a bad season. So I'm going based on what a lot of Napoli fans in chat groups say or whatever it may be, that he's not having a great season. Maybe he's having not.
Napoli fans still talk about Cavani. That's what pisses me off. And then they shit on Insigne. Like, give me a break already.
He's not gonna,
come on, Napoli, Donnie. Get out the past.
I don't like.
Insigne's the man.
I don't like how if you're gonna judge him on his contract, you judge him on this season. No, you should judge him on what he's done the last couple of seasons. Last year was a record year.
Oh yeah, last year he was immense.
And all of a sudden we can't pay him because he declined this year. Well, how many people have told me that this guy is emotional? He's an emotional player.
He's a Napolitan. I mean,
in his blood.
Who isn't? Which Napolitan isn't?
So,
dude, I watch Gamora, bunch of crazy motherfuckers down there.
Right, there you go.
But seriously, if he's an emotional guy and you want your contract and you're thinking about wanting to stay long term in Napoli, but you want to be paid, maybe not what he got with TFC, but something within a range of an increase. You don't think that's all in his mind when he's playing? For some players, they can't play with that pressure. Not everybody can play like that. Like, here's an example. Antonio Rudiger on Chelsea. He's in his contract year. He doesn't know what's going to happen. But the guy is got a strong mentality where he goes out every game, plays his game to his best, is still a quality center back where a lot of teams still want him, and like he just keeps going. Not everyone's the same. So for Insigne, now you're gonna watch, and I wanted to say this earlier, but Art already said it, and I agree with him, and I think that the pressure is now off him now. He no longer has to think about what his future is. He no longer has to think about his family and what he needs to do for the next 5 years to say, hey, am I living in Napoli? Am I leaving Napoli to live in Spain? Or am I going down the street? Where am I going? Like, these are things that you have to consider when you have a contract year. Maybe a guy like Luis Felipe on Lazio, who's in a contract year, doesn't give a shit because he's single. He can sign with anybody he wants and fuck off to everywhere he wants to go because he doesn't have to pick up his girlfriend or his wife. He doesn't have to pick up his kids and figure out where they're going to go for school. Where are they going to learn their English? When you go to fucking Canada, like all this shit. These are things that people are not understanding that have to be considered. And he's thinking about that every day. You don't think he wants to play at 100% for Napoli, but guess what? There's a reason why he wants to stay until the end of the season, because he loves this team. Why would he pick up and leave when you're in the top 4 spot and you're so close of a Scudetto? You think he's going to go play the MLS to get a shield when he can get a Scudetto? Like, seriously. But I'm going to say one thing. Good on Toronto FC. And not because I'm from Toronto, but because it's a bold decision by them to go after him. And I think it's great because we have a strong community of Italian. Like, the population is pretty big here.
Sure.
Like, there's a lot of Italian.
Yeah, that's why it makes a lot more sense for him to sign there than down at listen. I would have loved to have had him at Inter Miami, my local, but I know that they want to market to Latin America, so they're going to be signing players from like South America. Like, listen, and unfortunately, even if like they had an opportunity to sign Insigne, they would have signed like an inferior like Argentinian player for the same money, just because it's more about marketing down here.
Sure.
But man, like that's going to be exciting up there. And Jerry, like I see
he's
those
kill
parties you guys have up there at Woodbridge, like during the Euros. Have they like they're going to have a street parade when he arrives, right? Like it's going to be crazy.
I don't even know.
They're gonna put like blessed palms on the road, like they, to welcome this guy, and he deserves he deserves every bit of it. And I think it's about time that he gets to experience this. And it's true, somebody had said it about Napolitans giving him a hard time. They did. They really did. Like, and I'll call you out. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm going to call you out. Like, you gave this guy such a hard time. Oh, shit. Oh, he's not. All right. The captaincy thing, I think he struggled with a little bit, but it's because, one, he's emotional, and that's true. Two, he's in his hometown, so the stakes are a lot higher. And three, so much pressure was thrown on this guy. There's videos of fans going up to his balcony, talking to him, telling him, hey, man, you got to calm down. In fact, I think it was right after that game, Alex, last season against Inter. Like, hey, you got to stay calm. You got to – can you imagine that? And they feel the privilege to, or they feel like they could do that because he is a Napoli Don, because this is my guy, this is my paisan, this is my brother, so I'm gonna go to him and say what I want, man. Like, we don't know what this guy must experience on a day-to-day basis in his personal life when he can speak the language, he can speak the dialect to the fans. It's way different, and we certainly treated him a lot harsher than we treated some other players who weren't even Italian on the team. So I'm not mad at Napoli, and you know, I watched them today, and I was like thinking at first, before today's game, I was thinking like, yes, Insigne, go make that money, let's go, because I get to see you now here in the States, and I got a lot of friends up in Toronto and Canada that I have made, so everybody's kind of happy. It's mixed feelings really, but then I saw him today, I'm like, oh man, we're really gonna miss this guy, because you know, he has a presence on the field. He learned to absorb, like he learned to be a captain. He learned to absorb the pressure. He learned to stay calm, and he learned to set up his team, whether that was by, you know, Spalletti helping him out. I think Gattuso instilled some grinta in him. Like he let his balls drop a little bit. He said, Gattuso said it, you got to stop sulking on the field. You don't see Insigne go anymore. Go look at last year up until December. All day it was just like Lorenzo Insigne complaining. I hated it. But that stopped. As soon as Gattuso was like, you got to stop sulking. You got to grow up. You know, and he did. And the minute he got off the field, look at Sassuolo. He gets injured, we give up the game. Spartak, Rui gets a red card. They take out Lorenzo Insigne in the 41th minute, which I think was a blunder by Spalletti. We end up giving up that game as well. He gets injured. All of a sudden, we lose our form. I mean, one can cite, oh, maybe our defense wasn't there, but it wasn't like we were losing games by 4 goals. We weren't. We weren't scoring goals. The opponent would score 1 goal, and look, and we couldn't score anything. Like we didn't have no response, and part of that was Lorenzo Insigne not being on the field. So no, he's not that sexy left winger that is you know, might do these impressive things, but he is a guy who facilitates for the team and helps other people score. He brings other people up, you know, and I think we're going to miss that. And yeah, we can replace a left winger, you know, as far as skills, position, yada, yada, yada. Probably get somebody skill wise that could be better than Lorenzo Insigne. I don't know. But to fill those shoes, it's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. And I think that's something that ADL still hasn't learned yet, as far as like chemistry of a team. He just meddles in that a little bit too much. And I'm pro ADL. I'm not against them. But I think this time, I don't know if, and maybe this is for another episode, but I don't know if his time is coming soon. De Laurentiis, you know, it's like, how much more can he do for this team? Like, how much, you know, can he take him to another level? I don't know. His strategy worked on the come up, and it kept us consistent, and it kept us in the top flight of football, even though we never get the credit for it.
Yeah.
But can we take it to another level? You know, that 91 points with Sadi, it's like, are we able to reproduce that? And you know, the looks at the beginning of the season, I'm like, that Napoli wins a Scudetto, without a doubt. That Napoli wins a Scudetto. Like, come on. And you know, and we got to see now. You know, we got to see, because you know it might very well just be a top 4 finish, because you know for the next month or two, things are going to be really rough. So we'll see.
Yeah, no doubt.
What I do think is this team is so much better when Politano plays. I think Lozano's so overrated now. I really do. I think that he hasn't lived up to the expectations that was surrounded around him, what he was supposed to do at Napoli, and he's supposed to be this player which would be amazing. He will lift your attack and give you that depth and all that. Ever since his comments this season where he should be playing on a bigger team, He looks like he should be playing on a smaller team.
Should be playing at Lazio.
Fuck yeah! Like seriously, like this guy is not.
He said that before too. This is not the first time that
he's chewing on his own words, man.
Traveling.
He's chewing on his words because he's not that great. I don't care what anybody says. When I see Politano play for you guys, I see your attack on another level. He is dominant. He wins balls. He wins challenges. He's not scared to get into the corners. He runs back to help the defense. He's covering space. He's all over the place, man.
He's good with Spalletti, too. Yeah. I mean, the 1 year at Inter with Spalletti, he was really good.
He's in-your-face kind of player, man. He is Napoli kind of – he's got that Napoli DNA.
Napoli-esque, right?
Yeah, like when I see Lozano, he's just hot and cold and just you don't know what you're going to get, man. Like –
it's funny, like if you check out the report card show that we did in the last episode, the rant, like Politano got a D+.
Really?
They gave him a D. So yeah, it's again, maybe it was trick. We had our good friend Gaetano Salazzo, who came onto the show, and I kind of put him. He works in education, and I was like, "You make the grades. We're gonna, you're gonna do it. I'll do the graphics, but you're going to make the grades." So I kind of left it totally up to him and then allowed me and Rafa to kind of respond to it. But there's some people out there who are just not happy, both with Politano and Lozano's performance. But then there's some, I think it was kind of harsh. I think he helps on defense a whole lot. I think he helps Di Lorenzo look a little bit better too at times. But he's been a little bit too one-dimensional. Like even today, I thought he was so granted he had the assist, but he's becoming too predictable, and I think so is Lozano. Like Lozano is having these bad touches. I just think he's constantly getting double teamed, triple teamed. They're just cornering him on the sideline, and he's unable to get through. And he has to give up the ball, or he'll lose it. And he's having an issue there. I thought like when Victor went down, I was like, put Lozano up front. Like put him in the front and just send him long balls all day. He'll beat any defender in Serie A. That guy is so fast, Jerry. He is so pacey. You give him a little bit of space, and defenses know this. He's out. You're not catching him. That guy is fast. And
doesn't do it enough, though. That's the problem.
Well, when you're getting cornered on the right wing there, yeah. I mean, but you've seen Mertens feed him a whole lot. When Mertens got back in the field, he just kept feeding through balls to Lozano, who's working. So is he? I think he has a lot of technical deficiencies, and that's kind of like a term that we used on that show. Mm-hmm. But his pace is his biggest weapon, and I don't think they're using it properly. Like I don't think his ball control is great, but if he gets the ball behind the defender, he's out. He's out, and he'll score.
I want to ask, what was the rating for Juan Jesus? Do you have
today?
Yeah, I'm actually curious. I'm gonna give that guy a shout out. No, I'm gonna give that guy a shout out.
Fucking with you.
Because I thought he had a good game today. He wasn't.
He's had a couple good games, man. They're giving it today. With the exception of that own goal, he has been, I guess, acceptable, if that's the right word. He certainly has
filled the void for a cheap contract, man. Like, didn't cost you guys anything, man.
7.1 today, which is respectable.
Oh, it is respectable.
I told you, man. I thought that.
It's not a usual Juan Jesus grade from his career to this point.
I thought he played a simple game, didn't make any mistakes, was well positioned, not cut out, wasn't a liability.
See, and this is the thing. Like,
I agree.
Mario's an Interista,
I'm just saying
he's got the PTSD like me.
I'm just saying,
I get it.
In today's game, you guys were short-handed. You needed your players to step up, and I thought he. People always call him out. He's a liability. He's this. He's that. But guess what? Since he's taken over and has to like fill in where Napoli has no choices, he's actually come in and okay, he's not wow. Oh my God, this guy's gold. But he's not bad either. He's in between where he's giving Napoli enough in order to earn some points, earn a win. I know the own goal was a mistake. Whatever. Mm-hmm. Shit happens. It's not the end of the world. He's not the last guy to do this one.
Sure. Koulibaly have had own goals as well. It happens.
Yeah, but no one says anything when he does it, though, because
Koulibaly, of course not. Yeah,
bullshit.
Favoritism. It's like just hold everybody accountable. I don't understand what's the problem. Like it's not love when you play favorites. It's love when you hold people accountable. And Juan Jesus was he was like he's a backup. We bought him just in case we needed him at left back or just in case we needed him in the center. He's not supposed to be even he would have never played if Koulibaly. He wouldn't have had 1 minute today. He probably wouldn't have had any minutes barely these past couple games if Koulibaly was healthy.
Right. Well, guess who was in his pocket all game? Alvaro Morata.
Morata was bitch today.
Kept him in his pocket though, man. Yeah. No one beat him. He kept every Juventus player in his pocket. So, what, Chiesa? He didn't beat Chiesa. Chiesa didn't beat him. Just he took a shot, it ricocheted, and it went. It just
went in the goal.
Right. It's not like he got beat, man. The guy had everybody in his pocket, so give him a shout, man. I have to say, like,
I think Juan Jesus had fell on the floor or something like that, and Lobotka was the person defending Chiesa on that shot, and it deflected off Lobotka's leg, and then ended up kind of curling right, and Ospina was just not stretched out enough in order to block it, and he scored.
Jesus need everyone to die for him.
It's a funny
It's true though.
Mario knows
he's got a point.
Oh my God.
At this point,
Mario
that's
got a
what
point.
it would take. Like for Kolarov to get a start at Inter at this point, you would need like 4 people to die.
Listen,
I like giving shout out to the ones where we can give a shout out to Insigne because you know who Insigne is, but I like the underdogs and like the little guys who basically like step up and
prove, right?
Yeah, I like that, man, because like those are the guys you want to see, because when you don't have the Koulibalys and you don't have like whoever it may be, you want those guys to at least come in to perform at least for a game or two. You're not asking them to perform 10 games straight, but if they can come in and do 2-3 games, your sporting director did a job right. And I think that your sporting director has done something right here, signing him. Like, and the end of the day,
working out, I can't complain. Like even Rui caught the same. Rui kind of caught the same treatment, didn't he? But he has been at least a solid left back. He's not a superstar, but he's done his job, you know. So, like, if everybody's working, hey, just leave him alone, you know. And just because they didn't do well on one team doesn't mean they're going to do well here. I mean, Heaside did decent for us on Jerry, on side. I turned
my lamp off. I turned my lamp off. Now tell me, is it the lamp that's doing this? Because watch this. Because I got my chandelier on, this stupid light over here.
This is better now without the lamp.
Well, watch this. It's gonna come off soon. Don't worry. The light's gonna come dim down. Don't worry. This piece of shit.
So we got to wrap this up because I got to sleep. Raff has something to do.
Right.
I mean, Jerry, if you want, I could just leave it on. You can keep talking if you want, but
get to that mark actually, Alex. 10 o'clock. Yeah.
Look, we're getting dark again. See. Fucking bullshit.
So huge shout out. Hey, Raff, real quick before you go, let people know where they can find the Raff and Raff rant.
Well, you can come on Twitter. It's Raff N Raff. You can check us out on YouTube as well. Raff N Raff Rant. Check us out there. We again, you know, it was slower around December because we kind of took a sabbatical there, and so we didn't have as much content. We did an emergency episode, I think right after Christmas. We did a little episode, kind of like a soft opening, and then we just did kind of like a 2-hour special for the new year, and we did these grades, and so it'd be cool to check out. Look out for this Monday. I'm gonna have a little special announcement. We have a fun special guest coming up, guys. I'll mention it to you backstage, but I gotta
by the way, I'm gonna ask you this now. I'm gonna have to ask you privately as well, but I'm gonna say this so I don't forget. I need to talk to you about, like, I don't know who does like your graphics and shits and your merch, but I want to start getting into that this year.
Yeah, anytime. I'm more than happy to help, and
yeah,
that goes out to anybody. It's just like something I really enjoy doing. So know, and we use the same platform, I believe. So like, you know, we'll talk about it a little bit. Sweet. But check us out there, especially if you're not Napoli fan. We invite anybody's welcome, man. We like a little. We have Milanisti, we have Juventini, we have people from Roma. It's just fun. It's a rant. It's an opportunity. We enjoy the chat. We enjoy the live chat, kind of like you do here. We like to make everybody. Everybody kind of involved. You know, sometimes we just go off the rails depending on who's in there. So, but thank you guys, and I love being here. By the way, so I enjoyed it. I just watched yesterday's show too. I was able to catch up, or your last show, with William and Alex, I believe the lady's name, Debalix or something.
Yeah, Lex.
Yeah, Lex.
Yeah.
We're friends on Twitter.
Oh,
now.
Lux.
Debo
Yeah,
Lex.
yeah. She's
We're
really
friends on Twitter. Things are getting serious. No, but like it's getting Lex. It's getting Lex. This one's for you. But yeah. So but yeah, I love you guys, man. I love being here. Anytime, I'm always happy to come on. You know that.
Awesome, man. We appreciate it. What a fun community. Yeah, make sure you follow everybody, follow the show at CalcioCon Pod on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast. Just search Calcio Connection on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your pods. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel to watch our episodes here. We do our episodes always live on YouTube. Make sure you follow Jerry at jmancini8. Follow me at Alex Donno, and we will talk to you guys again next time on another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. Ciao.
Ciao, guys.